Hey, this is Q-Artistry. Welcome to part 2 of ranking every YouTube playable. Check out part 1 if you don't see your favorite game here, and create your own tier list through the link in the description. Let's get back to ranking. Element blocks. It's a B because it's better than the other options we've seen that fit this type of interest. I like the element of it, but when they do it, I kind of wish that it was a little more. I wish there was something that the fire did. I wish there was something that the green did instead of it just being a little visual effect. Again, it's better than the original brick tile Tetris-esque one that we rated, but I want more. Emoji Puzzle. This game would have been the S of the S because I love the concept it was giving. I loved how fun it was to figure each of these out, how far you could progress with it. But there's something that you would not notice if you were just a casual player. This is not like 150 levels. This is 50 levels that they recycled 3 different times. If it would have just been honest and been like, hey, we're a small, short little game, we got like 50 puzzles, and then you finish it, you're done. Like, it would have been so much of an S, but no, they had to lie. Endless Siege. It gets an A. It's an endless siege. For this being very similar to the Balloons titles, as well as the incremental tower defense kind of games, it does a good job. It has a cute little art style. It takes a little while for it to pick up, but once it does, really good automation. Could have this on with the podcast for hours. Can I just give Fairyland Merge a D and move on? No? Alright, fine. Now, I don't have an issue with this being a fairy-coded game. I don't have an issue with it being a merger game. I don't have an issue that this feels like one of those Facebook games that my mom used to play. My issue is that this one ended up being the worst of the bunch. You'll understand once I get to the other titles that are similar to this. Farmland. It's no Stardew Valley, but it gets a B for what it does. Compared to some of the other games similar to it, the way it incrementally built up, it would take a lot longer. This is definitely one of those that you would have to actually like play, come back, play, come back. I am the Spider Jones in this instance, in which I'm sitting down and playing these games for way longer than the average person would. But for what it is, I give it a B. Find out. It gets an S, and I found out that it's a really good game. I like the art style. This is one I would be happy to actually come back to time and time again, solely for the building up of the museum. It actually feels like something that I want to do and doesn't just feel like filling the void like that last game did. Overall, I'm definitely a sucker for any games that offer a really good art style, but the way that they did the puzzling on it added to the whole experience. On the other hand, Find the Alien. I think you see why I needed to add the kids list now. This game alone was the second game I came across before I did this video. And this is exactly why I was like, some of these are not for 13 plus, because that is technically what YouTube is. I do not, please tell me that there's not actual 13 plus people who are taking the time to circle around with this alien. Please, like, this is obviously the game that you have on YouTube that you like hand to your cousin in the back of the car, so they'll just like, we'll get to the store in 20 minutes. Just here for what this game technically is, and I will at least we'll give it a B because it works. Screw that. We're keeping this in kids. I'm not gonna try to talk this game up. It doesn't deserve that. Flappy Dunk. This one gets an A. Now, I swear, I'm not biased towards the sports games. I'm trying not to be. But the way that this one works, the way that this one functions, as it mirrors a game that we were all so quick to get banned and shut down, it does the job. It's a little frustrating in a good way when you have to sit up there and struggle with it. Get in the basket. But it also makes you want to get better at the game. Flow Legends. It gets a C because I'm not gonna lie, this feels like a Where's My Water knockoff. This feels like we got Where's My Water at home, but it doesn't even have the same feeling as like that or those pipe games because everything in it is so rounded edge. It's not as rounded edge as the Find the Alien game was, but the Gangnam Style does push it close. The rips of little things I've seen are very much teeter towards this is a kid's game. But I'm giving Flow Legends a C because maybe if I would have devoted another 20 minutes to it, it could have gotten better. Fork and Sausage. Now, I'll just be straight. I'm rating this an A. The man with the paper hat is what makes it an F, but I don't want to just give it an S because of the paper hat man in the background. Also, the only other thing that keeps it from being just that perfect true S tier is the fact that I could only change the sausage. I want to put a hat and decorate the fork. I want to put a bow tie on the fork. Why does the fork have to be left alone in this situation? Why can't everybody have a hat? That aside, though, this is so cute. This is so well coded. This feels like a little indie darling that I would be tempted to pay $5 towards just so I can support a cute developer. And for that alone, that's why it gets its grade. Free Cell Solitaire. It's a B. Games like this start to show how much I was raised around house rules, and when you had a deck of cards, it was very much free for all. Because I remember playing this game, you could take the whole card section and like place it on top of itself, move it. But in this, you could only do like 3, maybe 4 cards when you can move it around. Either way, for it being just a free cell solitaire, it gets a B. It does a good job and a little more. Free kick football, it gets a C. It's simple, it's effective, it's not my kind of game. I'll be real with you, I'm not a traditional football girl, I'm more an American football girl. But for what this game does, keeps you from being bored. Fashion Battle, it's a D. I will give it an honorary B because the majority of the game works. I kept playing. I gave it twice the amount of time that I expected. It was no 2-hour feature, but I gave it almost an hour, even though it was the same idea. Some of the outfits were breaking, and that's why I'm putting it in a technical D. But if they fix it up, then this is definitely a higher tier game. I was impressed that it managed to have as many themes and rotating ideas as it did for something like this. Chin Rummy. S. Ooh, I love this one. This one did such a good job from point to point. It had no real faults. It fixed every single thing that I have been feeling negative about with some of the other games, like the fact that you can just unlock your opponents, and they just stay there. You don't have to gamble for them. I know for some people they enjoy that, but I like that I can just unlock it at my progression, build up that finance. It still feels challenging. Even though I know they're robots, it feels like a good mix of them. And gameplay wise, this is one of those games that I could spend hours on, and this is one of those games that's going to become a very fun pocket edition outside of this video. Guess their answer. Well, guess what? This one got a D. Because at first it was working. It had some decency with it. Even though I know that this is obviously not real people, it's trying to give you that Google survey game kind of feel. But it's the way that it gets laggy, even though I was not using any kind of like video or footage in the background, let alone if you were actually trying to use YouTube with this. Too many janks for me to really give it a C. Like, this could be good, but it needs some more polish. Helix Jump. This brings me back. This is another one of those classic games, but I will give it an A for what it is, but if we're going by my personal rank, I had to give it a C. I do not like this thing they're doing, like, right here. Why is Weird Face McGee in my game? Why can't I just get a bunch of cute little clip art? Why's it gotta be, if you wanna beat the Jumpy, you gotta beat Paul from Facebook? No! No, no, no. No Paul from Facebook, please. Hide and Seek also gets a C for a lot of these same reasons. It's cute at first, but it doesn't level up with a nice amount of competitiveness as you keep going. And like, if you're gonna have fake robots, give me cool, fun, fake robot names like Tootie McBooty or Shortsmaster, or I'm quite impressed that they got the rights to hill climbing racing. Even if it's just the light version, this is an S. I loved this game as a kid. I love this game even now. Everything about it is still the same, like a time capsule. Nothing glitched, nothing broke. I am fine with this game taking as long as it needs, because it will never be done. And that's the way that this one should be. Homo Evolution. This one's an A. I really like the art that they use for this. It's one of those incremental merger games, so you're not gonna beat it overnight. The whole point of that is you're not gonna beat it in one sitting. But for as far as I got, it was very therapeutic. It did a good job of being its own thing within this already kind of well-known category. I like that you can just poke them. Gotta love a game you can just certified poke. I definitely spent way longer on this game than I thought I was. Like, this was just gonna be a hop in, hop out, but I spent at least a good hour and a half on it, just because must merge, must continue, must finish before I cut the camera off. And then it's never done. So well done. Idle Restaurant gets a B. This is one that I actually feel like if you gave it enough time, you could beat the game. You can't beat it, but you could unlock everything. And I think that's okay. Like, some of these games feel like they're a little too afraid of, oh no, what if they actually finish the game? Even better, I want to have stuff that's in my library that I look back on and it's like, I cleared that one, I did that game. It kind of adds to the charm. There's nothing wrong with a short game as long as it's a successful game. And that's what this is, so B. Jewel Planet gets a C because, crazy enough, it's not enough brain rot. Like, there's nothing of any kind of stimulation that I was, dare say, starting to hate in the other titles. You don't get these cool chain reactions, you don't get those nice little popping ASMR sounds, it doesn't flicker and hit that dopamine in your brain just right. It's a game. It's there. Actually, I was wanting a little more with it. And it doesn't help that it also goes the fake people route. Like, knock them all. It gets an A. Why? Because I learned that I could take these poor robots and I could prolong their suffering for my entertainment. Look at him hobble. Look at him desperately try to commit. I give you your points, buddy, but your suffering highly amuses me. Without your suffering, this game would not be as entertaining as it is. I love bothering them. I love messing with them. I love hurting them. And sometimes you need a game that is just pure carnal torture of a ragdoll. Kitchen Bazarr. This one gets an S, even though it had to sneak itself in at like the last minute. It takes the merger titles, the Connect 3 games, the restaurant tycoons, just kind of burrito wraps them all up into something delicious. I like how you have different options. I like how some of these were more challenging than others. Even if the little dollhouse aspect of putting together your restaurant didn't really do anything, it was a nice little gameplay aspect that makes you feel like your money's going towards something, unlike being locked in all those basements of those other games. Kitchen Bazarr is a place I would actually work at. Kitchen Bazarr makes me feel happy and safe. For this next set of stuff, you're not just seeing double, you're seeing triple. We have Ludo Club, Ludo Classic, and then Ludo Karts. When we look through them, it's like, why? Why do you need to have all three of these? The only one that's really that different out of the bunch is Ludo Karts. But to give them all their comeuppance, Ludo Club gets a C for classic. But that's because it works. It does a good job, so it's not a D. And when you compare it to the other two, this one feels like the middle child. It's not really bringing anything to the table. Nothing that the older or the younger doesn't do a bit better. This is why Ludo Karts obviously gets an A. The style, the fun, it actually feels like there's something to lose here. It feels like there's something going on with this one. If I was gonna play this with somebody else, or just play this in general, it's gonna be this one. Honestly, Ludo King gets a B solely for the fact that it actually has multiplayer with locals that you can play with your cousin or something. Ludo Karts is great on its own, whereas this one is the better just for sharing. Sorry, Ludo Club. You're the middle child in this case. Lunchbox Ready. It's a C. Who put me back in this basement? Who is holding me hostage and forcing me to do manual labor? Or somebody? Who? Please let me out. Please. Please. Please let me out. Please, I'm sorry. Who did I piss off? Who is this Tom Nook-esque that I need to repay these debts to? Why am I making lunchboxes? Where am I getting all these stickers from? I just want to go home. Why do I have to spend my hard-earned money having to fix up this place? These children are grateful to me. Why do they vote like that? Why? Some people maybe want to do this kind of manual labor for their finances and for their entertainment. And if that's the kind of thing for you, I just rank it a C. Now this is peak gaming right here. This is a very, I almost want to give this one an S, but I gotta give it an A. Just, like, there's no way that you can get better than this. There's no way. Before Google took over literally everything, there's nothing I loved more than logging on every day to see what kind of silly shenanigans Google would get up to. And every once in a while, it would just be a new game. And I love the people they would pick for this. They always find such fun, unique artists for stuff like this. You can't beat a fun little Google game. Except they did by making another one. That one gets an S. It has Latin fake fish names. How can I not? How can I not get that a super? The things that Magic Cat Academy gave in its presentation, in its love, it manages to somehow up the ante and do even better with the second one. This is one that I am so going to go back to after this, just so I can replay it and try to beat both of them. Magic Tiles 3. Going back to the situation that we're numbering these, even though we only have one of them? C'est la vie. This game, I was gonna honestly give it a C because, again, why do we have music tile games on an app where normally I'm gonna have a podcast on in the back? But it has Megalovania. It actually had games that I felt comfortable playing. Like, yes, all the titles were technically just, like, they were just covers, but with this one, yes. So you know what? This gets an honorary B for the Bone Zone. Mahjongg Dimensions. It gets a C. It's okay. It does what it's asking to go for. Normally I don't judge the audio, because I'm listening to whatever podcast or video I have on, but I had to mention the audio because it just randomly cuts out. Like, why? Like, look at that. Why? It just game-wise, it does what it needs. It's there for you. It functions. But compared to the next one I'm about to talk about, it's C. Mahjongg Solitaire, though. This is A. Graphics are a lot cleaner. You can't beat just doing regular old Mahjong without all the newfangled bells and whistles. The tiles go click, 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 and that nice ASMR that these games really want you to be a part of. It's a little sharp, but who am I to say? I'm still learning how to edit, so this gets an A. A+, really. Makeup coloring kit gets a B. I love how we have these trends that get set on YouTube or get set within the internet, and then eventually people realize I can turn this into a game that people will play. This gives you all the fun of being able to mix up makeup and play with it in the way that you never would have been able to as a kid. It goes back into that satisfaction of color picking and the ASMR that goes into that. Being able to use the money you earn doing tasks. This really does satisfy a certain itch that I was not aware that I had, so definitely gets a B for me. Mechangelion. Robot fight! It gets a C. It's good for what it is, but I'm not gonna lie, I could not figure out the dodging and the punching right, and found it easier to just manipulate him, just fight him and take over like a human does. It was so much easier to just overwhelm him with my sick punching than it was to actually try to play fair and dodge. Take that. Take that. And in fact, this tactic was so effective that it crashed the game. As much as I wanna potentially just give this a D or an F for the fact I crashed it, I'm just gonna give it a C and move on. Merge Heroes. This one moves on to a category of merging Connect 3, but it takes a new spin on it. We're starting to combine different titles, I've noticed. There are better merging games on this list, as you'll see later on, but again, like, this one works. Somebody is going to be interested in this that's not me. So for what it is, it's a C. Mini Golf Fever gets an A. I'm always a good sucker for some mini golf. This does a better job of hiding the robots, and I did a little snooping to see, can these games be played multiplayer? I got this little link. I don't have anybody who I could send this link to, so if anybody wants to try this and mention if the multiplayers really do work, please let us know. I'm curious. But playing this just as a solo adventure, it gives you the quote-unquote true solo, where the game developers put in photos of their dogs. You go, Glen Coco, you go, girl. It gives you a chance to realize that every golf tournament can be done with just a single shot, and it gives you something to keep playing it for. When you get on to the multiplayer, I don't know if they're just doing a really good simulation of somebody disconnecting from the game, because I also couldn't change my name. Like, I was just Michael, the guy with the hat. I couldn't be a girl model, I couldn't change anything. Maybe as you continue, it'll let you do it, but I didn't mind being Michael and smoking the competition. Merge Master, it gets a B. Honestly, just chuck more dinosaurs into your games and you'll get higher ratings. Dinosaurs aside, I like that this game took the usual genre, shook it up a little bit. It had some decent progression. I could see myself coming back just to say, oh, I managed to find all of the merges. You can't really expect too much from some of these titles. It's really gonna be merge the thing. Keep merging. Eventually you merge enough to get a new thing. Rinse and repeat until you've collected all the things. But this one does a good job of collecting all the things. Merge Pirate was a very different title in this mix. I was not expecting to see something more tile-based. I've played a few little honeycombs like this. They tend to be fun, cute, straight to the point. And anything that has a really nice art style and really sells whatever theme they're going for usually gets a good grade from me. So B. This one. This one. I'm giving this one an S. It has nothing to do with how good or bad it is. It has nothing to do with how I felt about it. This one gets an S because I spent almost 3 hours. I just wanted to record, like, just one, like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at most. And then I, like, glanced up and I was like, oh no, it's been, like, oh no, I've been recording for way longer on this one than I thought. So S, this one will steal your time, your soul. If this was actually a game that still required money, it probably would have taken that from me too. I need to make sure I never touch this again, or else I will never get anything in my life done. Well done, Merge Kingdom. Very well done. You have made the game. Mob Control. Now, we've all seen this one as an ad or added to somebody's YouTube commentary at least once in a while. It's not bad for what it is. Actually being able to play what I call the commercial game, it's not a bad experience. I like that with these, since they took away the option to watch videos to get currency, that now you just have to either hit it in the middle or you can literally hit the button on the corner and multiply it for no issue at all. So that definitely helps its ranking. It ups it up a little bit. It's something you can just chill out with. It's nothing too serious. This is one of those times where the game having no faces or any real rendering plays into itself. It's not just being done to cheapen it. This is one of those games that you should play once just so you can at least say that you have played it, but I'm not sure if you'll be a fan of it or not. My Perfect Hotel. Now we're starting to get into the my and I category. Games that want you to feel like you're in control. Games that want you to feel like this is your personal set-out experience. This game gets a B for the Better Business Bureau. They're clean, they're hard-working. This one definitely takes a lot longer to progress compared to the others, but it doesn't feel like it's an inevitable drag. I could see myself coming back to this one every once in a while. It doesn't seem like it's going to become anything grand down the line, like, oh my gosh, I unlocked the second floor, and then there's like pools and jacuzzis and strippers and cocaine. Like, no, you're just gonna get another floor, and the cycle continues on and on. My space pet. This is Zub, which, why don't I get to name it? Why is it gotta be Zub? Zub is cute though, we gotta give Zub that. This is one of those Tamagotchi-esque games where you take care of the animal, you have little mini games, you get to play together, brush them, comb them, use the money you earn to accessorize them. I have to give this one a C. I feel like there's a better title further along the list that does the same thing but with a different coat of polish. This game is definitely the cleaner and more modern Hitmill 5 kind of game, but it doesn't have, I don't know, there's a certain charm that this little buddy lacks. Like, just something about the way he's super polished. It doesn't work for me. My Mini Mart sadly has to get an F. The second I expanded the store, the whole game started to glitch. And no matter how cute the mechanics were or how nice it was working up until that point, if I can't expand and take over the world with my eggs and butter, what's it all worth in the end of the day? What is it all worth?